guys, today we're going to do the buck, and let's start with this young buck, this young animal. This is only 6 months old. So you will see it is still very small, obviously too small, as I said, to be graded as stud or selected flock. But the point is, when they're this size and even a bit bigger, we can fit 50 animals in a crate. And we will come back to this now, because when they're bigger, when they're 18 months old and even older, we can only fit 12 to 15 animals in a crate. So by taking these animals when they're this size, you know, you're going to save 500 to 1,000 US dollar per animal on just the freight, just for the freight. So that is the point that I would like to make. I would like you to have a look at this goat. It is broad in front. Let's start at the head. It has a beautiful head. Horns are a bit small because it's still very, very young. It's still a baby. We will have a look at the teeth now. We'll have a look at the teeth. But look how broad the animal is in front. The animal is well balanced. It's long, carrying a lot of meat. Even though it is only 6 months old and it will still develop a lot, it has strong legs and it is a long body. And then one of the most important things on this goat is look at his fantastic hindquarters. He has fantastic hindquarter. And as I said before, we are breeding animals here for meat production. Look at his hindquarters. They're strong. Yes, you can tell me that you've seen that there's a brown patch, but it is small enough for this goat to be stud registered. As I said, it can't be stud registered yet because this goat is only 6 months old. But have a look at him. He's in balance, and the goat is fantastic at the back. You know, this is definitely a potential stud animal, but not registered yet because he's only 6 months old. Okay. We're going to have a look now at the teeth and the teats of this goat to see if it will qualify as a stud registered animal. As I said, only 6 months old, so can't be registered now, but we can see if it has the potential to become a stud registered animal. Let's have a look at the teeth. It's perfect. As you can see, the teeth are biting 100% on the top jaw, not too short and not too long, the bottom jaw. So this is perfect. For the rest of the animal, it is nice, horns, nice head, good neck. Let's see the teeth. As you can see, single teeth. This is not a problem. It is good, so it qualifies. And now you can let him go. Okay. I want you to have a look, as I said, specifically at the beautiful hindquarters of this goat. It has the color, yes, but it will still qualify as a stud registered animal. This goat is very well balanced, and look at how broad it is from the front. This will become a stud registered animal definitely, but as I said, still too young. Okay. Okay, here we've got two very young buck. They are six months old. The one with the yellow neck or the lighter neck in the front, and then the one with the darker neck. They're obviously far too young to grade as stud animals or as selected flock animals, but I just want to show you a couple of points that you have to have a look at. The buck at the back with the dark head is carrying a lot more meat, but it's too short. This one in front, the yellow headed buck, is narrow. It will definitely just be a selected flock animal. The other one will probably also only be a selected flock animal. It is dipping in its top line. You will see that it is not solid in its top line, carrying a lot of meat, but too short. You will see it's very strong at the back, carrying a lot of meat, much more meat than a yellow-headed buck. But it is too short. You can see where they're standing now. The buck at the back is much shorter than the one in front. But the one in front has a lot of other problems that we will point out to you now. So both of these bucks will most probably be selected flock and not stud animals. But as I said, they're only 6 months old now. You can see here from the back, this one is carrying a lot more meat, but too short in a rump. The buck should have been much longer. That one is not wide enough. The animal is a bit narrow, also behind his shoulders, and also the light-headed buck is a bit wild in the eye, as you can see. Not very good around his eye. The other one is better, but these two animals, I would say, is good examples of just selected flock animals. They will never get stud tags, even though they have another 4 months or 5 months to develop. You can see longer animal, not broad enough. That animal too short. Look at the top line where it's dipping already in the top line over here, dipping in the top line. Even it is a very young animal, dipping. The animal is nice and wide. The length is not good enough in my opinion, and it is also has a lot of depth. It comes down a lot if you compare to this buck in front. But these two animals will be only selected flock animals. Okay, let's just quickly have a look here at the teeth. As I said, still milk teeth, very well. There's no problem here, so that's good. Let's have a look at the teeth here. Here we've got a problem. As I've shown you, double milk channels, so definitely not a stud animal, even if this goat was perfect. I know that he has a lot of other problems now as well. Even if he was perfect, he would have been downgraded to a selected flock animal, and he would have never get a stud tag. Let's have a look at the last one here. Same, 100% right. The teeth, color is nice. As I said, the buck is very young. I believe that he's going to develop a very good neck and head. Teeth, single teeth. Single teeth. So the teeth are 100% fine. If this buck is developed into something that can get a stud tag, the rest will be fine. But as I said, he's not long enough. You will never make it to get a stud tag. Okay, you can let him go. Guys, I hope that I could teach you something, and that you could learn something out of this. As I said, I can understand that it is confusing for many people how to select, which animals are really selected flock, which are stud, and which animals are exceptionally good. In other words, what we call show quality. I think you should have a good idea now of what you have to look for to get to a real show quality animal. Obviously, there's a lot of other fancy points that I did not discuss now. One very important factor is obviously when you buy is also to have a look at the genetics. It's important that, as I've told you, many of you before, you can easily have a flash in the pan. If you don't have any records and you come to an animal where the animal is fantastic, exceptionally good, but you don't know who the mother and the father is, or even the grandmother and the grandfather, you can easily have what we call a flash in the pan. You have no records to prove that this animal has a good chance, not necessarily has a good chance to breed the way that he looks like. It is always better to buy where you have a backup of genetics, and where you can see the mother and father and even a grandmother and a grandfather. Then you have a much better chance that an animal will breed and that you're going to have good offspring. Not guaranteed, never guaranteed, but a much better chance in my opinion. Thank you so much. I hope that I could learn you something, and that you could teach. I could teach you something, and you could learn something out of this today. Okay, cheers. Okay, guys, this is an example of a middle of the road stud buck. No fancy sire, but a stud buck that, in my opinion, is a safe buck to breed with. No fancy points, but he's a safe buck to use. You will see that he's carrying the official tag of the Breeders Association. There you have your emblem of the Breeders Association of South Africa with the number and everything. So this is official. Let me just again explain to you that if an animal, if a Boer goat or a Kalahari red is not carrying this specific metal tag, it is not a stud animal. That is the only tag that will, show you that the animal is a stud registered animal. Okay, let him walk a bit. You will see that he has a bit of spots on his ears. Some countries do not like it. It is completely acceptable in South Africa to be stud registered when you have that little spots on the ear. Completely acceptable. The goat is really long and has a nice length, good top line, good neck, and he could have been a lot stronger and more muscular in the face. Yes, he could have been stronger over the nose as well. But in general, the goat could have been a bit stronger in the thighs, but his top line is good. He's nice and broad in front. He's a long animal, and this is, in my opinion, a safe, middle of the road goat that deserves a stud tag, but is not your top sire. So that will not be your number one place in a show ring, but it is in other words, not a show quality animal, but a safe stud animal, in my opinion. Just to give you an idea, something between, a top sire and a selected flock animal. This is not a selected flock animal, this is a stud animal. Look at the lovely length, and as I said, a safe animal to use.